Hi students, welcome back to my channel Ultrasound Whispers. Today we will discuss the real secret of ultrasound imaging, that is pulse echo technique, and today we will touch it a little bit in detail. Let's jump to our topic. We initially discussed that when a sound wave is emitted by a transducer, these are called pulses, and pulse are the group of 2, 3 or 4 cycles. And when this pulse goes inside the medium, and in our case it's this medium is soft tissue, they return back as in the form of echo. And if you see, there are three different changes takes place to this echo. Number one, its amplitude is decreased as compared to the pulse. So it's a weaker pulse as compared to the original pulse. So echo is weaker than pulse, transmitted pulse. Second, it is inverted. You see that it is starting from crust, and there is the end of this pulse is a trough. But in case of echo, our starting point is a trough and ending is a crust. So three things takes place. Number one, amplitude is decreased, their strength is decreased, and inversion of pulse takes place. But they carry lot of informations when they return from soft tissue, and these informations are received by the transducer. And transducer, suppose here is our machine, and these pulses are converted into the electrical current, and this electrical current pulse echo goes on the display and make a dot. So one crystal send million of pulses, so million of dots are produced on the display. And this is called pulse echo technique, because these echoes are produced by the result of pulses. These echoes are produced by the result of these pulses, and these, when they unload their all informations on the display in the form of dots, and these dots all together make scan lines, and these scan lines make an ultrasound image. and this ultrasound image actually is made up of scan lines, and these scan lines carry a lot of information. So this is a pulse echo technique, and you also need to remember that when an electrical current is applied on a piezoelectric crystal, it produces ultrasound waves, and this is called reverse piezoelectric effect. Reverse piezoelectric effect. And when these pulses come back in the form of echoes, and these echo put a pressure on these crystals and electric current is produced, this is called piezoelectric effect. So a transducer produce or generate or emit, sorry, generate, not emit, generate these pulses on the principle of reverse piezoelectric effect, and echoes are produced are received back by these piezoelectric crystals, and conversion of these echoes into the electrical current is called piezoelectric effect. So never be confused that what process is what. Let's make analogy of these pulses and echo. First, suppose we have so here we have a pulse, and here we have a echo, and you can see the difference between this pulse and this echo. This pulse is large and this pulse is small. This pulse starts with crust and with trough, but this echo starts with trough and ends with crust, and echo is actually the inverted pulse. So if someone asks you to define echo, so echo is actually the inverted pulse, when a pulse got reflection from internal organs or internal tissue. So after reflection, this pulse becomes smaller one. Its shape is changed and it is inverted. So we are making an analogy. We have a big cycle like this one, this big pulse, and it goes to a house that is full with flowers, and when it comes back, this cycle, now this cycle is changed. It's flipped. The front wheel now here, and it went to this house, so it is loaded with flower, and flower represents the information that an echo carries, and these informations are unloaded on display of the ultrasound machine and transformed into an ultrasound grayscale image. So on and off time, we already discussed that when a transducer produces a pulse, this is called transmitting time. transmitting time, also called talking time, and also known as on time. So here the pulse is on, and after producing this pulse, it becomes silent and waits for the return of the echo of the first pulse. When echo is received by the transducer, it sends the next pulse. So the time when transducer is not producing any pulse and it's waiting for the echo is called off time, or it's called receiving time. So off time is actually when the transducer is silent, and on time is when transducer is actually producing a pulse. So this is difference between on time and off time, and on time is also called transmitting time, emitting time, or talking time, and off time is also called listening time or receiving time or off time. Sorry, off time we are already discussed. So these vertical lines, I told you that these vertical lines, these are not just lines, but they are loaded with information. These scan lines are loaded with information, and it's up to you that you are able to read these informations or not. And ultrasound sends pulses in millions of pulses and receive millions of echoes. So this pulse echo or pulse echo effect or pulse echo technique is the basis of ultrasound imaging. And finally we get this type of ultrasound image, and it's called grayscale image because you are seeing that it's almost all gray, and there are different shades of gray. Some points there are brighter points, and some they are darker points. We will discuss later. So continuous waves are those waves that has no break, and continuous there are some transducer that produce continuous waves, and you see that waves are continuously producing. There is no off time, there is no listening time until and unless the transducer will listen and interpret into a useful information. Image cannot be formed. So no listening time, no imaging. And every image has its story. This image is taken from the right upper quadrant, and you are seeing a gallbladder. And here is a stone, and this is called the sonic shadowing or sonic shadow. And here is the part of the liver. So this image is telling a secret story of a patient who has a gallstone, who has a stone in his gallbladder. And how you are able to understand that story? Because you understand echoes. You understand the secret language of ultrasound physics, that Any object that reflects more echo is usually solid and it's very bright. So we will discuss in detail when we will discuss the case studies and the different characteristics of the uh, of these gray shades. Another story, here is a liver, and you see here is a coin-shaped lesion, that is a hemangioma. We differentiate this area from the rest of the area only because of the intensity of the echo. Here the echoes have unloaded lot of information and try to tell us that this area is more solid as compared to this one. Like in this image, this area shows high concentration of echo and showing that this area is brighter than the surrounding area, more solid than surrounding area. There are some other stories, like here is a liver and here is a kidney, right kidney. Compare the echogenicity. This area is very bright as compared to this one. Why? Because here the echoes are strong. Why they are strong? Because kidneys are made up of fats. The center of the kidney, that is called the sinus, renal sinus, is made up of more fat as compared to the liver. And this area, if you see this area, is having no echo. Actually, this is the presence of the fluid. No echo is returning from this area. It means the pulses are passing through this area and they are not producing any echo. So, sorry, once again. So this area is devoid of any echo. So, and here are echoes, here are echoes, here are echoes, all over the echoes, but there is no echo over here. So that represents liquid. Truly speaking, ultrasound is mainly distinguished between solid and liquid. Liquid means no echoes, solid means lot of echoes. And by the intensity of these echoes, we can guess the texture or structure of internal organs. Here is the same image that I showed you earlier. Here is the diaphragm, and now there are no echoes above the diaphragm. And this black area is representing fluid or liquid, and above the diaphragm is a pleural space. So this fluid is in the pleural space. So this is called pleural effusion. And while in this case, this is the peritoneal cavity, because we are seeing liver and kidney. Kidney is present in retroperitoneal cavity. So this fluid is in the abdomen, and this fluid is in the pleural cavity around the lungs. And this area is also devoid of echoes, because it's inferior vena cava, and these are the branches of hepatic veins, and hepatic veins contain fluid, and the name of that fluid is blood, that reflect no echo. So these black areas are the blood. So by the location and by knowing the anatomy, we can differentiate what kind of fluid is that and what kind of fluid is that. So we will discuss in detail when we will dive deep inside ultrasonography. So let's read some stories of blood vessel. It's the iliac vein, and it is all thrombosed. You see, it is a blood flow. It's a part of the color Doppler or power Doppler, and we will discuss when we will discuss the different modalities of ultrasounds, color Doppler, power Doppler, spectral Doppler. So only the flow is seen in this area, and there is no flow in this area, and the the intensity of the echoes is similar to this far area. So, and this is a soft tissue. And now the blood has become solid in the form of clot or in the form of thrombus. That is why the intensity of the echoes inside this blood vessel become close to the soft tissue. And you know that blood is also a type of a soft tissue, but its intensity differ when it is in the form of liquid and when it is formed in the form of thrombus or clot. So this is popliteal vein. Popliteal vein is located behind the knee, and again the internal echo is the intensity of the internal echo is more, and that is representing a clot. But in previous images, when you see the pleural effusion and ascites or fluid in the abdomen, you see that they were more black because they don't have they do not contain solid material, but this liquid has changed into a solid part that is called clot or thrombus. So let's discuss something about probes. We will touch this topic in detail when we will discuss the chapter of transducer. So there are two basic types of probes, that are convex and linear. In linear, ultrasound crystal or piezoelectric crystals are arranged in the form of line, and in convex, ultrasound crystals are arranged in curvilinear fashion. And linear transducer produces vertical scan lines, and these scan lines are originated from different crystals, and these scan lines move in the same direction. In convex probe, the scan lines again are produced from different crystals, but they do not travel in a same line. They travel in different line at an angle. So that is why they make different image. The linear probe makes a rectangular image, and convex makes a fan-shaped image. So we will see there. And there is another probe that is called cardiac probe, that is also called phased array probe, and its name is basically that probe is basically different on the basis of the technology. So you see the footprint. This is the called footprint of a transducer or ultrasound probe, and it is in the form of a line footprint. But in case of convex, it's like a curve shape. So these two transducers are linear and convex, and here are their connectors. And seeing the top of the uh, ultrasound image, you can tell that which transducer has created this image. So the top is curved and it's like coming like this. So this image is produced by this convex. And if the image would be like this, so that would be produced by the linear transducer. So I talked about the phased array. So convex and linear are also called phased array transducer on the basis of the technology that is used uh, by exciting the piezoelectric crystals. But as I told you that we will discuss, this a complete chapter of transducer we will discuss in that chapter. And the field of view uh, is produced, that is called sector field of view, and they have ability of steering and focusing. So, and phase array probes are basically due to their technology that is used inside, and they are usually small phased, their footprint is small, and they are usually cardiac probes. And in cardiac probes we have to scan ultrasound. Suppose this is sternum and these are ribs. So there is a very small window where through which you can see your heart. These ribs stop the ultrasound waves and ultrasound waves are unable to reach your heart. So a small footprint can fit between the ribs, and it can send ultrasound waves to see the heart. So that is why it is also called cardiac probe. Cardiac means heart. So as I discussed that a linear probe, this is a linear probe. See, the crystals are lined and the footprint is in the form of a line. This is called footprint or face of the transducer. These probes are usually high frequency, ranges between 5 to 10 megahertz, and they have large footprint. And so as they have high frequency, so frequency and penetrations have direct relationship. Sorry, indirect relationship, penetration. When frequency increases, penetration decreases. It means high frequency cannot go deeper inside the body. They cannot go deep inside the body. So this is the limitation of high frequency. So what is the use of these high frequencies? So we use them to scan or to image the superficial structure like thyroid. They are located superficially, breast, scrotum, or skin soft tissues. So because these transducers cannot see deep inside the body, so they are used to scan only the superficial structures. And we already discussed that in these transducer piezoelectric crystals are arranged in the form of line, and ultrasound pulses are produced from different crystals, and they move in the same direction, and they make a rectangular image. Hopefully you will understand the working of the linear transducer. So we discussed this is the uh, ultrasound of scrotum, in which a testicle is visible, and here is the area of no echo. It could be the cyst, it could be the fluid. So if you see the top of the image, it is in the form of a line, and it is rectangular. See, it's rectangular. So a linear transducer produces a rectangular image, and the area you are seeing is called field of view. Field of view. And it's also called sector. So this field of views actually depends on the number of scan lines. It means this all areas contain scan line, and if you increase number of scan line, you can increase your field of view, and you can also decrease your field of view by decreasing these scan lines. We will discuss a little bit later in coming slides. So characteristics of curvilinear transducers, that these are low frequency transducer. We already discussed that frequency has indirect relationship with the penetration. When frequency increases, penetration decreases. When frequency decreases, penetration increases. Here the frequency is decreased. It means this transducer have low frequency. It means it can see deep inside the body. It can travel deep inside the body as compared to the linear probes, because they have high frequency. And if you see, they have large footprints, and crystals are arranged in the form of curvilinear fashion, in curvilinear fashion. Hence they have a better penetration. So we use them to scan or image the deep structure. But there is not always a free lunch. We have to trade off. Low frequency transducers do not create a high quality image. So there is a compromise. There is a trade-off between penetration and resolution. Linear frequency, linear probe have high frequency. High frequency have a high resolution. High resolution mean high quality. So frequency has direct relationship with the resolution. Resolution mean quality of the image, quality of the ultrasound image. When frequencies increase, the quality of the image of ultrasound is increased. When frequency decreases, resolution decreases. It means that the image produced by this convex probe has less resolution as compared to the linear probe that has high frequency. And the other relationship that frequency that you need to remember, That frequency has inverse relationship with the penetration. If you will increase the frequency, penetration will decrease. If you will decrease the frequency, penetration will increase. So here we have decreased the frequency, so it can dive deep inside the body, and its penetration is deep and it can see the deep organs. And other characteristics of these curvilinear probe or convex probes, that it has a large footprint, can uh, see the deep structures, and piezoelectric crystals are arranged in curvilinear fashion. So this image is you have already seen this image. Now the purpose of showing this image is actually the scale. This is the depth scale, and here is 10 centimeter. And if you go further, it means it is scanning almost 50 centimeter deep. So that is why these transducers are used to scan deep organs. So we already discussed the cardiac probe, and these are also called phased array or sector probe, depending on the technology that is used inside the transducer. And they are also low frequency transducer. Uh, Low frequency means that they have high penetration, but again, trading off with resolution. Resolution will be little bit low. And if you see, the footprint is narrow, and it it is used to see the deep structure. And we have already discussed that narrow footprints help to scan heart, because heart is located behind the ribs, and this transducer has smaller footprints, so it becomes fit between these two ribs, between the ribs, and it emits pulses and receives echoes, and make the heart able to see. Let's see the display of the cardiac probe. So if you see at the top of the image, it seems that all pulses are originating from a same place, and they are moving in different directions. And in this way, an image is formed. This is the heart of the image, and from seeing at the top of this image, you can tell that this image is created by this cardiac probe, and it's a phased array probe. And we will discuss this technology, that what is phased array. Array means arrangement of the crystals. For example, if we say that in linear, the arrangement is in the form of line. So the array is, this is called arrangement of the crystals, piezoelectric crystals. So if you see the scan of the uh, scan by the cardiac probe, so if you see the same thing, that echo, the pulses seems to be originating from the same point but moving in different field, and this is the field of view, or this is called the sector image. And if you see the depth, it is almost scanning at 15 centimeter, and it is only because it has low frequency, and low frequency probes has ability to see deeper, but resolution is not so good as the linear probes do have. So let's compare a little bit comparison between cardiac probe and convex. This is the visual comparison, not on the basis of the technology. So see the footprint, large footprint, short or small or narrow footprint, and the shape of the footprint. Both are low frequency probes, and they have deeper penetration. A little bit comparison between convex and linear. See the footprints. Linear probes have usually frequency 5 to 10 megahertz, and phase array or convex probes have 1 to 5 megahertz frequency. This is a low frequency probe. Low frequency mean penetration deep, but resolution decreased as compared to the linear one. Say the visual comparison, footprint is large as compared to this one, footprint is small and narrow. Scan line density. So we already discussed this again, the scrotal image, and this field of area, field of view has more number of scan lines. These are all scan lines as compared to this image. Actually, here is our transducer. Actually, what's going on in this image, that we have switched off these crystals, and we are not getting scan lines in this area, but here these crystals are on and they are producing scan line. That is why the field of view is larger as compared to the field of view in the first image. So if we switch off these crystals, you will decrease the scan line area, and your field of view or the image is reduced, and this will increase the temporal resolution of the image, and we will discuss this in detail when we will discuss the different kinds of resolution, like axial resolution, temporal resolution, and lateral resolution. So scan lines, this image has decreased scan line and it has increased scan line density. Similarly, you can see uh, this is the convex. This image is produced by the convex, and you have switched off all the all the crystals except these few crystals, and we focused in this area, and you see that the field of area is reduced because you have switched off these all these piezoelectric element, and we are getting no scan line in this area, and we get this reduced field of view that has a better resolution, and we can see a stone and the twinkling artifact in it. Basically, this is the case of nephrocalcinosis, and this will all be discussed in coming lectures. So this is all for today, folks. Please subscribe my channel and like this video. Do not forget these scan lines, because these scan lines are the basis of medical imaging, especially ultrasound imaging.